Taoism is a philosophical and religious tradition that originated in ancient China. It is based on the teachings of the Tao Te Ching, a short text traditionally attributed to the Chinese philosopher Lao Tzu, who is considered the founder of Taoism. Taoism emphasizes the concept of the Tao, which is often translated as the way. The Tao is the ultimate reality and source of all existence, and it is described as being beyond words and concepts. It is believed to be the source of all things and the ultimate goal of all endeavors. Taoist philosophy is characterized by a focus on living in harmony with the Tao, and on living a simple, natural life. It emphasizes the importance of living in the present moment and being at peace with the world. Taoists seek to cultivate inner peace and balance by following the natural flow of the Tao, rather than trying to control or manipulate it. Taoist practices include meditation, physical exercises such as Qigong, and following a diet that is believed to support physical and spiritual health. Taoism also includes ritual and ceremonial practices, such as the veneration of ancestors and nature deities. Taoism has had a significant influence on Chinese culture and has spread beyond China to other parts of the world. It is often seen as a complement to, rather than a rival of, other major religions such as Buddhism and Confucianism, and many people in China and elsewhere practice elements of Taoism alongside other spiritual traditions. Here are a few things about Taoism that many people may not be aware of. Taoism has a strong tradition of alchemy and the pursuit of physical immortality. This includes practices such as the consumption of elixirs and the cultivation of a subtle energy known as qi through techniques such as Qigong. Taoism has a rich tradition of literature, including not only the Tao Te Ching but also other texts such as the Zhuangzi, a collection of philosophical stories and parables. Taoism has a strong emphasis on practical application and living a simple, natural life. This includes a focus on self-cultivation and living in harmony with the natural world. Taoism has a tradition of reverence for nature and the natural world, and many Taoist rituals and ceremonies involve the veneration of natural deities such as the mountain gods and river gods. Taoism has a strong tradition of gender equality and the empowerment of women. The first known female Taoist teacher was known as the female Lao Tzu, and many important Taoist texts were written by women. Taoism has had a significant influence on Chinese art, literature, and culture, and its principles and practices have spread beyond China to other parts of the world. Here are a few notable people who were influenced by or practiced Taoism. Zhuangzi was a Chinese philosopher who is considered one of the greatest Taoist thinkers. He is the author of the Zhuangzi, a collection of philosophical stories and parables that are widely studied in Taoist circles. Bruce Lee, the famous martial artist and actor, was deeply influenced by Taoist philosophy and incorporated many Taoist principles into his martial arts practice and personal philosophy. Alan Watts was a British philosopher and writer who popularized Eastern philosophy, including Taoism, in the West. Wayne Dyer was a self-help author and motivational speaker who incorporated Taoist principles into his teachings. Stoicism is a philosophy that originated in ancient Greece and was founded by the philosopher Zeno of Citium in the 3rd century BC. It is a practical philosophy that emphasizes the use of reason to overcome negative emotions and to live a virtuous life. According to Stoicism, the key to living a good life is to accept whatever happens and to focus on what we can control, rather than on what we cannot control. The Stoics believe that we should strive to cultivate virtue, such as wisdom, justice, and courage, and to live in accordance with nature. Stoicism teaches that the key to happiness is to live in accordance with reason, rather than in accordance with our desires and emotions. It emphasizes the importance of self-control and the idea that we should strive to live in harmony with the natural world. The Stoics believe that the universe is governed by a rational order and that everything that happens is part of this order. They believe that we should strive to understand this order and to live in accordance with it, rather than trying to fight against it or resist it. Stoicism has had a significant influence on Western philosophy and has been embraced by many notable figures throughout history, including the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius and the philosopher Epictetus. It is still studied and practiced by many people today. There are many notable figures who were influenced by Stoicism or who practice Stoicism. Here are a few examples. Seneca the Younger was a Roman philosopher and statesman who was a prominent Stoic. He was a tutor and advisor to the Roman Emperor Nero and wrote extensively on Stoic philosophy. Epictetus was a Greek philosopher who was born into slavery but later became a teacher of Stoicism. He is known for his emphasis on living in accordance with reason and his teachings on the importance of personal freedom and self-control. Marcus Aurelius was a Roman emperor and philosopher who is known for his Stoic philosophy and his meditations on the Stoic way of life. Pierre Hadot was a French philosopher who wrote extensively on the history of philosophy and the practice of philosophy in daily life. He argued that philosophy should not just be a theoretical discipline, but should also be a way of life that helps us to live in accordance with reason. Lawrence Becker is a contemporary philosopher who has written extensively on Stoicism and its relevance for contemporary life. He has argued that Stoicism can provide a valuable perspective on how to live a good life in the face of adversity and suffering. There are many other notable figures who have been influenced by Stoicism or who have practiced Stoicism, including the philosopher Chrysippus, the Roman statesman and philosopher Cicero, and the French philosopher Michel de Montaigne. One aspect of Stoicism that is not well known is the concept of prohairesis, which refers to the idea that we have the power to choose our own actions and reactions to events. According to the Stoics, our prohairesis is the only thing that is fully under our control, and it is through the use of our prohairesis that we can live a virtuous life. The Stoics believe that we should strive to act in accordance with reason and to cultivate virtues such as wisdom, justice, and courage. They also believe that we should not let our emotions control us, but rather we should strive to act rationally and to accept whatever happens. Another aspect of Stoicism that is not well known is the concept of apatheia, which refers to the idea of being free from negative emotions such as anger, fear, and anxiety. The Stoics believed that apatheia was a key component of living a good life, and that it could be achieved through the use of reason and the cultivation of virtue. It is important to note that the Stoics did not believe that it was possible to completely eliminate negative emotions, but rather that we should strive to control and manage them in order to live a more peaceful and contented life. Mimetic theory, developed by French philosopher and literary critic René Girard, is a theory of human behavior and culture emphasizing the role of imitation and desire in the development of societies and individuals. According to Girard, humans aren't primarily driven by their own needs and desires, but by the desires of others, which they then imitate and seek to fulfill through mimetic, or imitative, behavior. Imitation and desire leads to conflict and competition, as individuals attempt to attain the same objects or goals as others. Girard's theory has significant implications for understanding social dynamics, especially when it comes to religion, violence, and cultural difference. Girard's key insight, of many, is that religion and culture serve as means of mediating and resolving conflicts that arise from mimetic desire. Imitation is not simply a passive or mechanical process. It is an active, creative force that shapes the identity of both the imitator and the model. It is the basis for all social interaction and the source of all cultural transmission. According to Girard, mimetic theory has been expanded on by a number of scholars and researchers in a variety of fields, including philosophy, literature, anthropology, sociology, psychology, and theology. Some notable figures who have studied and written about mimetic theory include Jean-Michel Aourlian, a French psychiatrist and psychoanalyst who has written extensively on the psychological and neurobiological dimensions of mimetic theory. Michael Kirwan, S.J., an Irish Jesuit priest and theologian who has explored the implications of mimetic theory for Christian theology and ethics. Margaret R. Miles, an American historian and theologian who has applied mimetic theory to the study of early Christian texts and practices. Mark R. Ansbach, a French sociologist who has used mimetic theory to analyze economic and political systems. Scott Cowdell, an Australian theologian and priest who has examined the role of mimetic theory in contemporary culture and spirituality. James G. Williams, an American philosopher who has applied mimetic theory to the study of ethics and moral decision-making. Their work has contributed significantly to the body of knowledge surrounding mimetic theory. More work is needed to help deepen our understanding of the role of imitation and desire, and its deleterious effects on human nature.